Well, if there's one thing you know about me now, is that I love car camping by the sea. And over the last 3 years, we've pretty much car camped the whole of the Kent coastline, and there's only a handful of spots left that I've been looking at. And as my knee is definitely starting to get a little bit better, and as I've taken a half day's annual leave, today we can check out one of the last stops that I've been looking at. Well, first things first, we definitely need some petrol. And with that, we are all filled up and on our way. So recently I've been buying quite a few bits and bobs, and I'm going to be using them for the first time on this car camp. So it'll be interesting to see how they all work. Well, I'm not sure what the temperature's going to be like tonight, because the weather's been a little bit weird of late. One minute it's freezing cold, the next minute it's mild, and at the minute I think we're in that kind of quandary between, does it want to be freezing or does it want to be mild? But either way, I am fully loaded with all my how I keep warm when car camping gear, and within that is one of my new items that I've bought. If it wasn't for the cold and the fact it gets dark so early, the weather at the moment is so fantastic. I mean, look at this. This is blue skies and sunshine. So where we are off to today is basically the other side of Whitstable. So we've been to Tankerton before. I've actually never done Whitstable, but we're going the other side of Whitstable to a place called Sea Salter. Now, this is somewhere that I've looked at loads, and the parking there does appear to be completely free because it's out of season. And on good old Google Maps, Google Earth, it does appear to be quite flat. So, fingers crossed, it should be a decent little park up. Well, we are here. I recognise the public toilets, so let's have a look and see where we're going to park. I'll go next to the toilets first, we'll see what it's like there. Well, slight change of plan. I've moved the car slightly further down, mainly because it did appear to be a little bit larger down this end, so more room for my car to get in. And the good thing is, these spaces are definitely flat. And even if they weren't, I could get away and do the same thing the Moho's done over there. But yeah, this looks much nicer. And this is why I wanted to come to this park up. But whilst, yes, you can't see the sea from where the car is, it's not far to get a pretty decent view. And to be honest, there's not an awful lot down here, so that might mean we get the little boy racers coming down the road, but that's no problem, I don't mind that. But I do like this. This is why we and I have been around the Kent coastline so much, because I absolutely love these types of park ups. They do tend to be pretty peaceful. Well, I am clearly over the moon now that I'm able to actually get back out doing the car camps I want to do. The last couple of weeks I tried to go out car camping, but I was mainly looking at really local places, basically not the kind of car camp locations I normally look for. What I want to do on this channel, as you'll know, is I like to go places I've not been before and explore and chill out. But the problem with super local car camps is I know them, so it's no fun. And actually what I'd end up doing is what I've always said I wouldn't do on this channel, which is I film what I do, I don't do what I film, if you see what I mean. So I want to take you on my actual car camps. I don't want to do a car camp just for the sake of a video. So the fact that I am here now, back on the seaside, in a totally chilled location, I am ecstatic. Well, at the moment I am back to running a very small amount, basically 1 mile every couple of days, although I did do a 5k the other day that was pretty cool. But the point of that is, this is one of those excellent locations where you could do some blinding running. I mean, you've got all the seafront down there, and then you've got down here more kind of landscape and just pathways, and someone behind me. Well, I'll tell you what, I absolutely hate vlogging in front of people, so I'm rather gutted that there was somebody behind me. I couldn't see them because the sun was in my eyes, so yeah, only slightly embarrassing. I'm definitely not one of those YouTubers that can quite happily pull their vlogging camera out and just chat away loudly so everyone can hear. No, I am the complete opposite. I hide my camera every time I see someone. But where we are now is a nature reserve, and clearly they had some ruins here, or some wreckage here. The Battle of Graveney Marsh. Well, as tempting as it was to walk around the nature reserve, I think I'm going to save that for a time when I'm back here and I'm able to run it a little bit more. I might even do it in the morning, to be honest. We'll see how the morning goes and how chilled and relaxed I am. But yeah, so we're going to head back in the general direction of the car. We're probably not going to go in yet. I want to make the most of the daylight and the sunshine. So I think we'll start walking towards Sea Salter and see yeah, what's down the other way. I think what we might do is head back to the car, because I managed to come out without actually having any lunch, and I did bring my last little pot noodle thing along, so we might pop back, have that, set the car up, and then we might go out for a little nighttime beach walk. Managed to remember to bring my torch with me for the first time ever, so I think that sounds like quite a good little plan. How nice is this sunset? And with that, we are all set up and good to make a cup of coffee. I'm pleased to see I'm not here on my own now. Although the motorhome went, it's been replaced by a van camper who I actually saw on my walk. So he's obviously worked out that I'm staying here. He's parked a couple of cars behind me, so that's quite cool. It is a very secluded little road, so the fact there's someone here, at least I think they're still here, that makes me happier. And I've also tried for the first time my car DashCam security idea, and I'm powering it with my old Clarus light that I never really use because it's got a battery bank inside it. And the results are, to be fair, as I would have expected. So because the front window is a little bit steamy, You can't see a lot out of it, but you can see lights importantly, and the back window, well, that has actually cleared a lot more now, probably since this has gone on. So the fact that's now clear, I actually can see a little bit more out the back. So in all, I'd say it's relatively successful. It actually, to be able to see anything actually without having to pull anything off, well, that is a miracle for me, so I'm well happy with that. So I think I will give the beach walk a miss tonight and instead have a little lie down and play on my phone. So I had thought the car was going to be quite warm tonight. It was very mild when we was walking along the beach, and it had felt quite warm in the car. But now I can feel the temperature starting to drop. So I have taken loads of my cold weather car camping gear with me. So you know my green fleece that I always wear, that's actually my heated hoodie. And if you've not seen it before, it has heated arms, heated front and heated back. And that is powered by a little battery bank that came with it, which is in here. But as well as that, I also have heated socks, which are under me at the minute, and they have their own little battery banks. I also took my Oodie with me, which I might put that on in a minute actually. Now that's not heated, but it is nice and big and fluffy, and to be honest, I've only really got that for car camping. You would have seen me wear it a couple times in the past. But the new thing I've bought that I'm actually going to plug in now is this. Now you might think, oh well, it's an electric blanket. Yes and no. It is electric, but it's a USB electric blanket, and it is exceptionally low watts. I've tested this already, and this pulls on its highest setting 8 watts. So it's clearly not going to get massively hot, but I reckon for car camping, putting this inside my sleeping bag is going to make it nice and toasty inside. And because it's such low watts, I'm actually planning to use this for that as well, because I think this will power it for an entire night quite easily. Well, it's 7:30 now, so I suppose I best crack on with some food. But what I'm actually doing tonight is a proper old school meal, but with new school bits. So in the past, I always used to use my gas cooker on car camping, and I would always use canned food. But as you all know, I stopped using my gas cooker in the car because it gives me migraines, and I moved over to my lovely electric hob and my little 12-volt rice cooker. But what I'm going to do tonight is something a little bit different. So what I'm going to do tonight that is different, clearly I'm not using gas, but I want to try using the 12-volt rice cooker as a bit of a kind of a slow cooker, or a cooker basically. And I'm going to put the chicken in the rice cooker, and I think that will get hot enough to heat it through. I'll then cook the rice and all the veg in the pan, but yeah, we will see how this little experiment works. So there's actually enough room in the rice cooker, I think, to put in the carrots and the mushrooms too. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how fast that actually cooks. Well, that's been on so far for about 20 minutes and it's used about 10% of the power station. And you know what? I think there's actually enough room to put that in there too. And if there is, well then it's even better, isn't it? It's a proper one pot stop. Well, I've managed to get it all in. It is a very tight fit. It is in there though, so I'm going to put another quarter of an hour on the timer. We'll check it out then. So I turned the little USB blanket on before I started cooking, and I've had it on inside the sleeping bag as you saw. So I've just got on top of the sleeping bag with my little blanket on top of me, and you know what? This is amazing considering it's only 8 watts. Oh my god, I am going to do a separate video of this. It'll be a very quick review. There's not a lot to really tell you, but I'm going to put a link to this actually in the description already so you can take a look at it. It was only 20 quid and this is fantastic. This is so warm, it is lovely. Well, it's been about 35 minutes. It's used about 14% of the power station, and I think it is, yeah, it's good enough and hot enough to eat. I really enjoyed that. That was like proper old school car camping food without a migraine. So I suspect we'll be seeing more meals like this in the future. And just like that, the super comfy car camping Udi is out. Oh, this is nice though. It is absolutely perfect for car camping. It's almost as warm as my heated fleece. And that's saying something. Well, and with that, it is almost 12 o'clock, and I suppose I better get my CPAP out and go to sleep. Now, the CPAP I'm using now is the one I've actually just got from the NHS, although it does seem to draw twice as much wattage as the one I had previously, so about 90 watts. Well, if it does that, then my little R1500 is going to be on 0 when I wake up. So it'll be interesting to see how much power the new CPAP takes. And so, in time-honoured tradition, I will see you all in the morning. Night-night. Well, good morning, and it is now 10:30, so I suppose I best crack on with some breakfast and some coffee. So I did sleep really well last night. I slept right through till 5. did have a headache when I woke up, and I thought actually it was because of the fact I was parked on the wonk. But I eventually sussed out what my headache was. It was actually a lack of caffeine. I left home yesterday about 12:40, and I only had 1 cup of coffee after that for the whole day, and normally I drink a lot more than that. So I think my headache actually and my disturbed sleep was indirectly caffeine self-inflicted. But what is super handy with this morning's caffeine deficiency is that I can finally show you something that I bought months ago for car camping, but have actually never used on a car camp, mainly because I always have to leave too early in the morning. And that is this bag of coffee beans and a manual coffee grinder. Yes, I have a proper insulated coffee pot. So we are going to crack on with that straight away because I am in bad need of some coffee. This is like coffee and a workout. What better way to start the day? And my little low wattage blanket was absolutely blinding last night as well. I think it stayed on for most of the night. I think it auto turned off at one point because there's still battery left in the little battery bank. But what I would say is, and it's something I hadn't expected, is that where you've got heated coils in the blanket, and as you're laying on it in the sleeping bag, I am pretty sure that my own body heat was warming the coils because it felt so warm in the sleeping bag this morning. But yeah, so I'm well impressed with how that's performed in the field for the first time. And what you would have seen this morning as well is that my little DashCam security idea has definitely worked on the back window. Now I'm thinking that's because the weed fabric's on there and that's probably absorbing a lot of the condensation. So the back window this morning I can see perfectly clearly out of. The front window is a different matter. That is completely covered in condensation. And that leads me on to the other purchase that I was testing today. And that is I bought some of these condensation silica gel bags you can get. These are the ones that are reusable, so you can put them in the microwave once they're done. But having used them last night, well, clearly there is loads of condensation on the window this morning, so that hasn't worked. And what my actual idea long term is to test all the different theories as to what stops condensation. So this appears to have not worked. On my next car camp, I'll do the cat litter in the sock trick. Someone else has said salt on your dashboard. So I'm going to test all of these and then I'll end up making a groovy video. But the problem is I can only make that tutorial video by actually doing it on car camps, unless I sleep in the car on my driveway for a week, but that's a bit weird. So yes, that is the condensation testing plan going forward. Now that is a morning coffee. Well, as we're actually starting to run out of time now, I suppose I best crack on with my breakfast. Well, I'm pretty sure I don't actually need fried eggs as well with my bacon my sausages and my brioche buns, mainly because in about an hour I'm going to my mum and dad's and I'm going to have a Chinese dim sum lunch. So, you know, I've got to save a little bit of room for that at the very least. Well, that is it. We're all done, we're all cooked, and we're ready to eat. But the only thing I forgot to take with me was a plate, because I was supposed to have had my pot porridge, but I decided on having a bit of a breakfast feast instead. So I'm thinking all that I can really use for a plate is the bag the rolls go on. And this is a proper car camping breakfast treat. Bacon, sausage, mushroom rolls, ×2, freshly ground coffee. Oh. If ever there was a time for a bongo bend thumbs up, this is it. Well, I've managed to have a little post-breakfast lay down, but as I'm now officially running late, I need to get on and get out. So I hope you've enjoyed my little sea salter car camp, and until next time, take care.